Hey everybody, Tom here with Hidden Beats, and today we're talking with Nicole Ray. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
It's great to catch up. It's been a little while since we've got to chat last.
Absolutely. Always nice to catch up, especially during the new year, find out what everyone's up to.
hmm So for those who are new, can you give a little intro about you and your music?
Yeah, so if you haven't heard of me before, I'm Nicole Ray. I'm a country singer-songwriter currently from Alliston, Ontario, and I have 4 records of music out that you can check out and anywhere you stream online. And I'm currently working on a brand new project with a brand new single coming out soon.
hmm That's one of the main reasons we're here to talk to you about today, actually.
Yes, new music. It's the best.
hmm
Always the best to get new music out, and it gets so much like harder. I feel like as artists, there's so much out there. It's overwhelming, but it's always nice to get a new set of tunes out there for the fans.
Do you remember like a first album that you bought that was like an inspiration for you going into music?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've always been a huge Kelly Clarkson fan. I remember like listening to the Breakaway album like on my, Discman. But before that, there was like Spice Girls on
Okay.
tape, the cassette tape that I used to carry around everywhere. Loved that. And then for me, especially how I got into country music was Shania Twain. She
Mm.
was like the first country song that I ever sang on stage, and I had all her albums, and I would listen to that in the back of the car and sing along and drive my parents crazy.
hmm Yeah, I mean Shania is definitely, the queen of country, so that's not a bad name to be inspired by for sure.
Right, I know. She's inspired us all. She's such a queen, and I mean she still is. Like look at her touring right now, and I actually went to see the show, and it's amazing that she's just still kicking ass on stage.
I got to see her last year at Boots and Hearts because I was covering the whole festival, so got to check her out, and we almost got rained out, and it was a whole big thing, but she's like, no, screw it, I'm going on stage, and man, that was a show.
I heard it was so much fun. I'm so sad I missed that.
Mhm. She then came to Ottawa like the following year for Blues Fest for our big festival here, and then another fantastic show. Like she just is perfect at what she does for sure.
Right? I know. I adore her.
hmm did you have any fun things this summer that you got up to? I saw that you were at the CCMAs, like there was a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Yes, summer is always the best, isn't it, for music? I feel like it always gets a little quiet come winter, but summer was really great this past year. I got to do some amazing festivals, including Dauphin's Country Fest and Manitoulin Country Fest, which I love because they just support so many Canadian acts. It's like all Canadian there, which is amazing. So
hmm
that was great. And I actually started my own festival a couple of years ago, an all-female festival called Harmonia Fest. So that was on its 4th year last year. We're gearing up for year 5, but it's just grown every single year. So to see how it grew last year and get to watch all the artists on the lineup was just a highlight of the summer for me.
Who were some of the names you had this year?
This past year, we had Runaway Angel as our headliner, and for those who don't know, they had to take a break for a while as one of their members was sick. And they're getting back together now and putting out new music, which is like so fun to see. So it was great to have those ladies back on the stage. We also had Katie Topham, Sam Dabbs, Olivia Mae Graham, Angela Saini. So for those who don't know, these are all independent female artists that you should definitely check out if you haven't already.
No, those are good. I've got to chat with some of them in the past, so they're definitely that seems like a pretty fun lineup for sure.
Yes, and looking forward to who's going to be on the lineup this year. If anyone has suggestions or somebody you want to see on Harmonia Fest 2024, feel free to send us a note.
Definitely. I'll make sure to note that in the links too so they can check that out. Now,
Perfect.
the main reason we are here is to talk about new single, which is Guilty, and I believe that's January 26th that's coming out.
Yes, it is, which is the day after my birthday. So I kept saying to everyone, this is like my birthday present to you, and your birthday present to me is to go pre-save the song. So
Mhm. Can you give us a little bit of a story behind that one?
Yeah, so this tune I wrote last year in Nashville with actually the producer of the track, Douglas Romano, and a wonderful writer and artist by the name of Crystal Lee, although she is now going by Audi, and she's putting out some new music as well, so you can check her out as well. But I was headed into a write with them, and I was watching this show. I don't know if any like listeners watch this, but it's called Good Trouble. And basically the main character on the show is like a legal assistant, a legal clerk, like she works in a legal office. And so there's like a lot of courtroom drama, a lot of like court like words in the show, like a lot of jargon
Hmm.
in that area. And so like going into the write, I like really wanted to write a love song this day because I struggle with those the most, and I was like, I'm feeling like this is a day to finally write a love song. But then because of watching that TV show, I was like more in a courtroom drama like
Hmm.
state of mind. And so I got into the write, and Crystal kind of made a joke about like, "Oh, well, what if it's like the love was so good it feels like it's illegal?" And I was like, "That's awesome. I
Okay,
love
yeah.
that." So we kind of ran with that, and Guilty was born, and I'm so excited that it's finally coming out and to hear what everybody thinks.
Hmm. And when you're putting together a track, is there a specific process you like to go through, like laying down vocals and then trying to mess with it that way, or how do you put together your music?
For me, like normally in my head, even just like from writing the song, I like to get to the melody first. Like I have a hard time like fitting in the lyrics if I do that and then try to like make it work to some melody. So for me, it's like it always starts out as the music and then the lyrics come to be. And then yeah, I love putting down some kind of demo or work tape of it so I can kind of sit with it for a while. I have had a few experiences where I've like written and then gone right into the studio, which is was really fun as well. But I like to sit with it for a little bit and also perform it live too to see what people think before I really go in and put down the track for real.
Hmm. Now, last time or I guess the first time we talked was back when you had Broken Boys being released, and then we can go all the way back to 2013 when you had Only Everything. I'm
Oh my
curious I'm
goodness.
curious how you think your music has evolved from, for earlier releases into coming into now.
So I think in the beginning, I mean, I really didn't know where to go with my music. Even when I started out and went into the studio, I was like, am I country? Am I pop? Like, I just didn't really know where my music fit. And I think that's because I love all genres of music and I kind of like don't like fitting into one little box. But in the beginning, I think like you could tell that a little bit more in my music. Like even when I listen back, it's like, okay, I was definitely confused about what I wanted to sound like. And so it's really cool now to just sort of like learn and grow and change and evolve and put out music that really feels more like me. And I think that's something I'm still working on as I put out new music now, but it definitely feels hearing the songs now, it's like, oh, that really sounds like Nicole. Like it feels like what I want my listeners to know about me and the things I want to say right now, the stories I want to tell. And so I'm excited to keep heading in that direction, especially lately with the tunes having more of a country rock flavor. I feel like that's where I've really found my home and where my voice fits the best. So I'm excited to bring more music into that direction.
For sure. Now, one of your big points, like you have Harmonia Fest and you're a very big advocate for women in music. How do you see the music scene right now is for women in music and country music?
I think there's been some changes in the last few years, and I think mostly it's been like awareness about the fact that there still needs to be, more done
Hmm.
for equality in the industry. And it's nice to see that there is this awareness. It's nice to see those people who are out there sort of fighting the good fight and providing opportunities for women in country music. But it's still at least to me, it feels like a boys' game a lot of the time, and that I do hear that from a lot of industry and artists, other people as well. So I'm hoping that things that I'm doing and things that other people who are out there trying to put on really help force us into more equality for men and women in country music.
And I do think you see it more so. Like looking at Boots and Hearts this last year, they had Shantea winning the emerging artist competition. So you see kind of it's starting to pick up a little bit more in the women getting their dues for sure.
Right? Absolutely. Love Shantea. So glad she took that win home. And that's exactly it. It's nice to see sort of momentum in that direction.
hmm Now, what do you think are some of the harder points that are happening right now with equality? Like, why aren't women getting seen as much?
It's so hard to say, but I feel like when it really comes down to it, we all, as fans of music, like what we hear. So if there's no opportunity to hear the women because people are worried for whatever reason, they're worried that like the fans will prefer men's music over women's. Then if you're not playing as many women as you are men, it's like, of course, the favor is going to remain with men. I mean, there's always that familiarity bias, right? Like sometimes you hear a song on the radio and you're like, oh, okay. But then you hear it 20 more times and you're like, oh, I love this song
Hmm.
because you're so used to hearing it. And so, if we're not playing women, then like how are the fans supposed to know that they like it? Which sounds so stupid, but it's hard to find music on your own. I mean, there's so much music out there. If we're not, helping to elevate and promote the next generation of artists, we're not going to have one.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like you said, there's so much out there. I miss things all the time, and I have people
Right?
come across my desk for interviews that I'm like, oh, I've never heard of this person, and it's not because I don't like that music. It's I just don't know where it
Right.
is.
Right. And there's so much now. And of course, with social media, the ability for everybody to promote and put things out. And, we're overwhelmed with the amount of material. And so yeah, some things still gotta change in the industry, but I think there's a lot of people out there championing for those things to happen.
Now playing devil's advocate a bit, do you think there could be an issue with over commercialization of music? Like it seems too mechanical in a sense and doesn't really hit home?
Absolutely, because I mean, again, it's like somebody kind of figured out, maybe like a formula that works for a song at one point, and people like that. So then it's like, why would the next person not be like, yeah, okay, well, that worked. Like, let me
hmm
just plug in my song in the same format. But you're right. I mean, eventually, how artistic is that? It's the same old thing over and over again, recycled in different ways. And a lot of times because of that, we're missing out on what, I would maybe call true art. People really creating from the heart and trying to connect with their fans and put out real stories and real music. And I mean, it's subjective, so it's hard to say, but I always love a story that's, from the heart, which is why I love songwriters rounds too, because that's when you can really hear those ones that are maybe not the radio hits, but are
hmm
the true artist and the true music.
Yeah, like I don't listen to radio whatsoever. Like I don't have a radio station on ever, and it's just because there's too much of the same all the time, and it's just not
Right?
to me.
I know, and, I know everyone says in country radio that, like, it will stick around forever, but I don't know. I think the way of, playlists and other things happening now and other ways to access music and hear the music you really wanna hear may eventually win out.
hmm Now, do you think the biggest part to stand out is to be kind of true to yourself in your music and do something that hits home?
I think so, and I think that's something I struggled with for a long time because it's like, how do you be yourself, but then, you still want to follow the rules of the music industry or follow the formula enough to get picked up by radio or whatever it is. And, I sort of tried to do both for a long time, but you really can't. And so at this point, for me, I feel that too. It's like, it's time to just be authentic. It's time to be myself and share the music that I want to share. And like, too bad about whatever the formula is, too bad whatever the rules are. I think if you really are yourself, then you will find the fans who really care about what you have to say, and that's success at the end of the day. It's like, yeah, maybe you're never going to have a top 40 radio song, but if your goal is to connect with people through your music, then there's so many better ways to do that.
Hmm. Now, what's something you've learned at this point in your career that you wish your younger self would have known back then?
Oh my gosh, to believe in myself a lot more. I feel like when I first got into the industry, and I mean, understandably, it's like I didn't know anything about the industry. So people are telling you what to do, or you're paying somebody who says, like, this is the best thing to do. And it was so easy to go along with it. It was like, yeah, okay, like, forget what I think. Like, this expert says I should do this, then I'm doing this.
Hmm.
And, I regret that a lot now because doing things on my own for the last while has been just eye-opening. It's like, oh yeah, I really do have my own opinions here. Like I really know what I want to do and what I want to say. Why was I just shoving that down before and not paying attention to it? Because I think what I have to say is very valid. So
Yeah.
at this point, it's like believe in yourself all the way, trust your gut. And I'm trying to do that a lot more.
Now you wear many hats in this industry because you're a business to yourself now. What do you think has been the most rewarding one for you that you didn't expect would be so?
Probably with my festival starting hat.
Hmm.
Um, I've learned so much in the industry, like business wise for myself, to help with my career, whether it be social media stuff or marketing and all those things that have been like just wonderful bits of knowledge to learn. But I think starting a festival is something I never thought I would do
Yeah.
in this industry, but it has been the most rewarding. I mean, it's a crazy amount of work, and every year I'm like, why am I doing this again? But then on the day, just to, watch artists on the stage do what they love and watch the fans in the seats, who are there, who really care about these independent artists and what they have to say, it has been just incredibly rewarding in a way that I just had no idea was going to happen to me in my career and in my lifetime.
Yeah, I could imagine that's something. I've been a part of helping to like book some single shows and things like that, but a festival is like that's a next level for sure.
Well, anytime you can help, put artists on the stage to do what they love to do, it's just incredibly rewarding.
Hmm. Now, because the music scene is as crazy as it is, and you have so many things you're doing, how do you stay grounded and how do you kind of keep yourself level so you can keep doing what you're doing?
Well, first of all, my mom told me when I started this business, she was like, if you ever become a diva, I will let you know and I will kick your butt, and that won't happen. So,
Mhm.
mom keeps me grounded, that's for sure. She keeps me level-headed. But my whole family, like both my parents are super, super supportive of what I do and, keep me kind and keep me humble. And my partner Damon as well, he helps me a lot in the industry. I mean, he plays guitar and takes photos as well, so I'm lucky to have him around to support me, not only mentally but literally support me in all aspects of my job. And having a great support system is really everything in this industry because yeah, there are a lot of days where I just want to like cry and give up everything, and
Yeah.
it's nice to have those people who have your back.
Yeah, it's definitely so it's like Hidden Beats itself is we're international now. So we're US, UK, Canada, everywhere. So I get the idea of having people supporting you because there was times where I've burnt myself out trying to do too much and just
Right?
not keeping myself centered for sure.
It's so easy to do. I feel like that's been my New Year's resolution. Speaking of New Year's, is that I'm trying to like take baby steps this year into like keeping myself alive and not doing too much because I'm usually the yes person who like takes on every task. And now I'm just like, okay, one step at a time. Like today we're just gonna drink enough water to make it through the day.
Hmm. I did that for coming into the new year. I made sure when 2024 started, I was going to have a lot of things in place that made my life easier because my wife would kill me if I started, being too stressed out. And I have a 1-year-old now, so she's gonna
Ah!
drive me nuts anyways. So I need to be level-headed for a lot of things.
Right, and it's hard to do when you know, work for yourself and wear so many hats and take on so many tasks. It's like we all really need that reminder of balance in our life, that's for sure.
Hmm. Now, I always like to ask a few fun questions in my interviews just because it gets to know a little bit more about you and how you tick. And I think the first one for me, which I think will be fun, is who plays you in the movie of your life, like the biopic?
Oh my God. Okay. I I just want it to be Rachel McAdams for whatever reason
Okay.
because I just like am obsessed with her and like every time I think about me in a movie for some reason I like picture The Notebook and I picture her even
Okay.
though that's like not a movie about singing at all obviously it's like sappy love story but I love those as well. And so for whatever reason, even though she does not look like me or, you know, anything, I just feel like it would be her. That's just my instinct.
I mean that I think that could be still fun on its own though, just because she can really make
Right?
it her own in that way.
Right. Plus, she's played a lot of different roles where she's had like almost every single hair color. She pulls them all off. So I would really love to see her with purple hair and see what happens.
Hmm. That's actually one thing I was going to ask you about the purple motif through like your Instagram and stuff like that is how hard do you strive to make sure everything has a hint of purple in it?
Oh gosh, you know what? Was starting when I first started that, it was like very difficult. It's almost like second nature now. Like I just know exactly how to edit everything to make it purple, or
Hmm.
I just do more things in front of purple backgrounds on purpose to make
Yeah.
my life easier. But yeah, it's still like a lot of work. It's very particular. I have this app where I can like post what looks like your Instagram feed before you post it to your Instagram so I can like see if the next picture is going to match the one
Okay.
before. So so
That's not
yeah, there's
bad.
a
I
lot
like that
of
idea.
testing before I actually post.
Yeah, see, myself, I've tried to be that methodical about it and gave up so quick because it was just too mind-numbing and having to manage. I think I have like 6 different social media accounts I have to manage for different things. So I kind of just went, no, if it's there, it's gonna be there.
Right? I know it's very hard. Sometimes I still kick myself because it's just added work, but you know what? It's too far now. I have to keep it up.
Mhm. Yeah, TikTok is the bane of my existence right now. I can't care about that because I just don't want to.
It's so hard. It's like just another thing and it's, you know, I mean a lot of on there is like luck of just, you know, you happen to post something that worked. So
Mhm.
I try so hard on that app, but some days I'm just like, why am I here? Woo, my light just fell.
Yeah, that's
Stand
a fun one, and I have to figure that out still myself.
Oh no, it doesn't want to stay now. I'm gonna be dark for the rest of the interview. Hold on. Come on.
I could do a
Stay.
little brightening if I need to.
Hold on. Get it to lean. There we go.
Now,
It's
another
leaning
question I
on
have. We kind of touched base on this in a past interview, but I think it's more detailed now, is what's one thing that you think should be asked more in an interview that's not asked enough?
Ooh. Well, and I mean, I feel like you're doing a good job just now with the fun questions, but I think that needs to be more involved. I mean, I think even like when I listen to an interview for another artist, it's like I do love hearing about the music and the song and like how the song came to be. But I mean, you're also tuning in because you want to know the person, right? Like you want to get to know a little bit more than what maybe you get to see, you know, at a show or on social media. So I think kind of digging into the other stuff outside of music is a lot more fun sometimes.
That's why I use that question because like we've had 3 interviews now, so trying to pull out different questions sometimes gets a little bit tedious. So I want to make sure I can, navigate that a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love the fun stuff.
Mhm. Now, okay, so this is a real fun one, and I call it
Okay.
the great debate. Do you think a hot dog
Oh,
is a sandwich?
no. I don't think
No?
it's a sandwich. I mean, I like a hot dog as like disgusting as whatever the ingredients are in a hot dog. But I mean, I love a hot dog, but I don't think it's a sandwich. I wouldn't call it a sandwich.
Now, what's your reasoning behind that, though?
I don't even know. I guess because like,
Just
well,
because?
yeah, I because a sandwich has like layers. I mean, I guess you put stuff on your hot dog, but to me, it's like a hot dog. I just put mustard on it pretty much, so it's like that's it. But like a sandwich would have like lettuce and tomato
Okay.
and onion and cheese, and so that's more of a sandwich in my mind.
And see, that's probably the most logical answer in that sense. As a sandwich, yes, it does have some sort of layers system to it where
Right?
if you look at a hot dog similar to a Subway sandwich, for instance, it's the same setup, but no layers.
Right? So yeah,
Yeah,
no
okay, I like
sandwich.
that
I
answer.
vote no.
That's a good answer. I like that one. Now, what do you hope fans take away from your music? I know we touched a bit on this, but I'm wondering if you can flush that out a bit more.
I mean, for me, it's always that they they get themselves out of it. You know, they get their story, they get something that they need out of the song. For me, that's the best part of music. Like when you're listening and you're like, "Wow, this person really gets me." You know what I mean? Or they're like explaining some sort of situation that they're going through that you're going through and you're like, "Wow, I didn't know anybody else could see it how I see this situation playing out right now." And so for me, I just really hope that people find that in my music as well. You know, they really find their story in it or just take something away that they needed when they were listening to the song.
Hmm. Have you had any really memorable fan interactions? Like someone's come up to you at a show and told you what the story of the song did for them that stands out?
Yes. So one big one that always stands out for me is I have a song called Don't. It's on my second album actually. So this is a bit of an older song, but still one I love. And the song is sort of about, you know, having the courage to walk away from a relationship that's not good, you know, to say it's better to not stay here at the end of the day. And I remember that a fan sent me like a really nice long note after a show saying that they had been in an abusive relationship, a really dangerous situation. And after hearing the song, it gave them the courage to find safety and get out of the relationship. And that always stuck with me because that's so important. I mean, you know, for people that's so hard in that type of relationship. I know lots of people are scared to leave, and I think that's was really an important message of that song, and I was so glad that somebody resonated with that and really could find safety.
Yeah, and that's an amazing story to hear and to know that your music is just out there doing things like that for people.
Right? And there's no better feeling than knowing that your music has helped somebody.
Hmm. Now, if you had to introduce your music to a brand new person, never heard of you before, what would your introductory track be? Like, which song would you make sure that has to be the first one they hear?
Ooh. That's a good question, and I feel like I always wanna, like, name the latest track because it's like that seems like the most, you know, on par with where I'm at the moment, so it makes me wanna say "Guilty," but I honestly, the first thing that popped into my mind was "House of Cards." I feel like that song was, like, sort of a turning point for me on, like, this is the sound that I really want to showcase for people, and that was the first one that was sort of the turning point for that, and so I think that would be the first one to go to.
Hmm. And it's nice because you can then look at your growth from a song like that. You can see how your
Right.
music's increasing and doing different things.
Absolutely.
Now, what motivates you to keep walking down the musical path that you're walking?
Oh, good God, because I love it so much, which is
Hmm.
the only reason I feel like for a lot of artists. I mean, honestly, like if I didn't love it as much as I do, I don't think I would still be here because this industry is not easy and this career path is not easy. It's I mean, any career where you're taking your passion and then like putting your heart out on the line for people to stomp all over in some occasions or for people to tell you no, for people to tell you it's not good enough is so hard and it's so heartbreaking some days and I truly just feel this is the path I'm meant to be on. This is what I'm meant to do and I I love it so much. And yeah, if I didn't, I would definitely just not be here anymore because
Mhm.
emotionally I would just be spent at this point.
And that leads into my final point is, are you happy?
Oh my goodness. I'm so grateful. I feel like I'm working on being happy all the time in this industry. And again, it's hard because of how much, rejection there is sometimes, or competition, or fear, or anything like that. There's a lot of scary parts of it, but I am so, so grateful that I get to do what I love every single day. I know not everybody has that opportunity to do what they love, and, make a career out of it. So I'm super, super grateful, and always working towards being the happiest version of myself that I can be.
That's the way that I think life should just be, just working towards being happy every day.
Right? Absolutely. That's all we can do.
hmm That's all the points I have written down. So
All right.
we have the new single coming out in I think 10 days or something like that from now. And
Yes. So soon.
what's coming up after that? You have the album dropping, you have shows coming up.
So I'm actually going to be hitting the road with another country artist by the name of Mackenzie Lee Meyer. She's an amazing country artist from Ontario as well. She's got a new EP dropping. So the two of us are hitting the road to promote our new music, and we're still working out some of the finer details, but it's almost all set. So we're going to be announcing that on our socials very soon. So everybody stay tuned for more info.
If you stop by Ottawa, I'll make sure to be there with metaphorical bells on, since I don't think I actually have
Okay.
any bells.
Yeah, no bell outfit.
I mean, I'd probably look really good in one, who knows, but
I think you can make it happen.
yeah. But yeah, like it was a pleasure actually get to talk to you face to face this time and get to pick your
Yeah,
brain a little bit more and catch up.
I know. This was very, very nice. Thank you, of course, for all of your support over the years, and so nice to get to see your face and catch up in person.
And I'm sure we'll get to do this again, and we're gonna make sure we link, all your socials, music, everything for people to find and get you some more fans and some more listens.
Awesome. Well, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, you too.
All
Take
right, bye
care.
now.